Previously on Culture.
So
we last left the Migos on Horror Island.
So there was this one first Migo Offset in April 2019. He got the TMZ Employee of the Month because will Cardi B accept him back into his life after cheating for the 15th time and to go in the whole nother little bitch route of going on stage, getting flowers. I'm sorry, Cardi, take me back. And somehow she's saying, no, we're getting divorced. But then playing an Uno reverse card and then bringing him back into her life because
that's
why?
A weird thing. Offset was basically the wearing the pants in his own relationship with Cardi B just fucking slaying all the entire year. Meanwhile, TMZ was getting all their clicks as they could, getting photos of Offset breaking iPhone 6s in Targets while getting diapers. So he's been having a good time. Meanwhile, Quavo and his relationship with Saweetie seemed to be off to a good start. And then they started realizing that elevators were a point of contention.
There's elevators parts 1 and 2 into this story. So he got caught in 4K, dragging her by the goddamn hair and yanking her into the elevator, saying, you're gonna come with me, you little bitch, and get in here, and then goes up into the elevator. And then she releases a diss album on there, and the diss album is pretty shitty, and all of that. So.
Yeah, there's also the thing where like Quavo and Saweetie's breakup was pretty public. There was this whole thing where Saweetie had caught Quavo cheating, City Boys up again, and then Quavo then responded to Saweetie saying that I thought you were loyal and I expected better of you than to break up with me because I cheated on you. I expected better for you. Like let's all go our separate ways.
God, I hate males.
And then Takeoff, the third Migo, what has he been up to? Rape charges. They since we've reported on the rape charges with Takeoff, they are dismissed in LA County Court because of a lack of evidence, because we've talked about rape cases. There's a lot of times where it's hard to get evidence on these things. It doesn't mean they happened or didn't happen, more or less, but that's what the Migos have been up to. But that means we come after a while. Culture 2 came out pretty quickly after Culture 1 because Migos had done some mixtapes after a while. Then Culture 1 is when Migos had really gotten their pop trap kind of set deal kind of thing down to a science. They were like really properly good at it. Then the world met Culture 2, and that was an hour and 48 minutes of like way too much.
Way too much. You did have some decent tracks. Like BBO is hilarious with 21.
You really hated that song at the end.
I hated it
in the review, and then it grew on you.
And it grew on me, exactly. Yeah. Because now I'm like, I can understand it, but the rest of the album is just...
I mean, you have the bass blasting Walk It, Talk It.
Never forget Just the Speakers rip.
You have
Narcos.
And basically the idea with like Migos doing a pop trap album and like bringing that to the forefront in like a way that was big for that time is that if you throw 20 trap songs at a wall in the mid 2010s, like 5 or 10 of them are gonna stick. They don't have to be good. Of course, none of them are good. It's just kind of statistics at a certain point. So the challenge for Culture 3 is, are they going to make good trap music? Are they going to push anything forward? Are they going to do it?
And Culture 3 is 19 songs, an hour and 15 minutes long.
And that whole preamble is to tell you, no.
Absolutely not.
Why did you expect them to?
Do you expect anything, but you expect anything less from Culture 3 to suck? If you did not, then you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Before we get into ripping this a new asshole, because I did write down my notes about Culture 3, it manages to be both not bad and worse. In the sense that, this is Quality Control and Motown Records. So, the adults are in the room now. But this actually means that, this is pop trap. Trap has moved and progressed a little bit, thankfully, over the past couple years. And so, instead of, the unnecessarily overproduction with, snares and flips all the way over here, you get a little bit of pared back conservatism, if you will, in the production, which I think allows that part of it to shine a little bit more. I always thought the beats that were produced for Migos were generally pretty good, and you do a lot of work with them, which is great because the beats are definitely pulling the weight on a lot of these tracks. But then you get into the lyrics and it's just the same shit.
It's literally the same thing over and over and over again for the past 5 years. And it's pretty shit. I just won't forget. So I did a live listen in with Dan so he could see my reactions while I was on headphones playing Xbox with the We Made It guys of how bad it was. Avalanche starts off of just, I'm like, why? Why does it start off like this? You're already making me mad by just getting into it. It's just, well, it's definitely a Migos record.
Yeah. You start with, you really start off the album with Aubrey and the Three Migos, as of course it makes any sense to do. And it's an interesting refrain chorus thing that Drake has because perhaps not watching. Maybe he's been watching too much of Kanye and Kim Kardashian's reality show and not a lot of the Migos reality show recently. I think the Migos one's a lot more entertaining. But whatever you want to do when you're watching Bravo TV. But the chorus for Drake is interesting because it's about, Drake and the Migos having their way, which is interesting considering what they're rapping about, their relationship with women. But no, it's okay. Koi out here having his way. Set out here having his way. And like the third Migo, I take. Like the third Migo, I take off. Like the third Migo, I take. Like taking people, like the rape charges. Interesting. Nice choice, but we'll move on.
I like to call Half an Hour Away the rape, so the official song, the Audioface nominated. So like, what's Rape Be About that award? That's definitely, Half an Hour Away is definitely nominated for that. Because we still keep that award because it's a hilarious name for an award.
Because it's a Pharrell quote, because Pharrell took a long time to realize how bad Blurred Lines was.
It took him a decade to realize that because males. And also, Drake sounds like a bitch on the track. Like, honestly, his flow, everything, it just sounds like somebody squeezing his balls maybe or something. I don't know. Maybe it's because he watched the Toronto Maple Leafs get ass fucked in the brain by Montreal, and he's just like, oh my God, we lost again. Fuck, I guess I gotta go, amigos. Let's talk about rape.
Drake hasn't really had any new or good flows in decade plus. So like it's an unusual snoozer. Straightening is a song that makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Like fundamentally, like I get if it's about straightening beef, but like the chorus is ain't nothing straightening but straightening, and I'm just like are y'all talking about Jerry curls? Like what the fuck are we at now? Like where are we? Where are you taking us, Offset? Kendall, where are we going? Kendall. Speaking of Offset's government name, we get to type shit with Cardi B, which must have been a really interesting agreement that we came to.
Oh my God.
And you actually liked type shit with Cardi B.
I thought it was, listening to it now, it's just like, it's whatever now. Like, when I first listened to it, I think because of how shit the 3 songs before it were, I got to it, I was like, okay, this is a song I could listen to.
Yeah.
It's just the same trap beat that they've used for like 6 years onto, and Cardi B's part is okay, but...
Yeah. Migos has a way, quite a lot like the dude who won't stop talking to you at the nightclub. They have a way of wearing you down to the point where you eventually say yes. Is eventually enough Migos songs are so bad, you hear one, you're like, okay, fine, there you go. Yeah, that's kind of Migos modus operandi.
But just the thing that they just keep doing all this stupid like, hey, take off, blah, blah, blah. They haven't learned.
Yeah, the features here are most of the saving grace, because at least in Culture 2, some of the songs like they were on their own, doing their own thing, were pretty passable and like all right on their own. Mm. But here, the songs where they aren't doing features are just so snoozer, so boring. Malibu with Polo G I can really barely listen to, if I'm being honest. I'll give Migos 1. Vaccine is just like tragic. It's just
Vaccine
so hilarious.
is one of my favorite tracks of the year for how hilariously bad it is.
Yeah.
It is the best thing ever.
It's Buddha Bless who did the production for it.
Buddha
and I'm
Bless
trying to remember like what is the like flute part behind it, because it's a classical song. It's like a classical song. It's like very like
well no, it almost sounds like a fucking, they took a RuneScape beat and then mixed that, put it onto a track about COVID. It's like what?
But like it's the da 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 da.
Yeah.
Like that's a real song. I don't know exactly like what measure that is or like what movement, but that's flipped in a really interesting way production.
That's from the Nutcracker.
Right. But like it's flipped in a really interesting way for this song. So I'll give Buddha Bless that credit in that sense. Which is to say like the production on this album is good, but the rest of it's so bad. But Casa featuring Future, like it's the only... We're in an era of Future where like he just absolutely doesn't care. Like he's just like not trying. Like he had that one song Superstars on a couple albums ago where it's just like, everybody wanna be a superstar. And it's just really
like
terrible.
Solitary says you could get the flu.
It's just so terrible. It's so terrible. What's next? Like it's at this point,
Roadrunner, whatever, and then my favorite worst song of the year so far. I'll get to my other favorite when we'll get to the next album. Okay. What You See featuring Justin Bieber is one of the worst things I've ever had to sit through and listen to on Audioface because of how awful it is. It sounds like you mixed a shitty Justin Bieber track.
Which they did.
Of him trying to be black again. I don't know what phase of Justin Bieber's life it is, of him trying to be Canadian or black or like this or that.
Justin Bieber's Young Boy Never Black Again. And every time he does a song with like a black artist, he's just like really trying to get it back, but he's never gonna be black.
But
again.
then it's just bad. I can't even explain.
Because
it's
Migos Trap and B, Migos like I remember the song "Moving Too Fast" from Culture 2. That was like a Migos Trap and B kind of thing. That was like not great, but still like a little bit better effort than this, which is just like, I mean, it's sad. It's like the official soundtrack of a man who's down bad. It's just this song. It's really horrible. It's really pathetic. Jane is bad. Antisocial with Juice WRLD. You take a Juice WRLD sample where he's like rapping about drugs, and then you like, never mind the fact that he died of a drug overdose. And Migos is like, oh, I take your rapping about drugs. Let's quadruple down on that and continue rapping about more drugs.
And then just go about more drugs and how awesome it is, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Juice WRLD is going in the plane and dying and fucking foaming at the mouth. The Migos are like, ooh, he's foaming at the mouth. Let's make more drug songs about it. Yeah, get the drugs, dude. Get to beat the drugs. Yeah, boy.
Perks. Like, it's just like, I don't get, like, I don't get how we're like, Mac Miller's death was so bad and so tragic, and every post about that is like everyone.
It's like there's so many fucking people who've been trying they've been dropping left and right.
And then all of Juice WRLD's posthumous songs are like, I have depression, and I'm doing drugs to do it, and everyone dancing around, and everyone's doing like party songs, right? Like
people fucking
drugs,
to it, they're going
like,
around, they're smoking to this and that. Like,
don't
you realize
self-awareness?
Did anybody want to help this guy? Help anybody? You know what? Let's just all die from drugs. Fuck
let's just make the song. Let's make the bad. Let's continue collecting the money. It's awesome. I also I aim to go back because there's like a record-breaking levels of like again like City Boys up 5 points, because there's a lyric in Having Our Way where basically Quavo talks about repossessing Saweetie's car after the breakup.
It's like that one dude who paid child support and with 80,000 pennies and dumped it out the fucking door.
Yeah.
Deadbeat dads.
Yeah, because the lyric was, she had her way, now she out of a Bentley. It's just like, what a piece of shit. Anyways, the album itself, so the last song of note, like there's Need It with Young Boy Never Free Again, whoops, at the very end. But there's also Light It Up with Pop Smoke, which is like
posthumous pop.
Every Pop Smoke song I've had to complain about this the same way, where it all does the same sort of like half grimed thing beat to make Pop Smoke's like rhymes work. But then every other artist has to jump on there and try to do something they're not. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So Migos hopping around trying to do their like triplet flows trade-off thing on this thing.
It just doesn't work.
They're just cut up by this beat. It doesn't work out. I didn't expect to have this many thoughts about Culture 3, but it's, in a lot of, like, production-wise, it's better, and it's more ambitious. And I think the songs that are, like, hits off of this are improvements off of the songs that were hits off of the last one. But as a full project, it's still not good.
It's still pretty dog shit. And they are horrible humans.
Yeah, horrendously overrated, just, like, bad as people. And let's also...
Stop making stupid people famous.
Yeah, we forgot to also mention that they're solo projects. They released solo projects, too. They were all terrible. Takeoff is like
Quavo's album's one of my least favorite things I've ever had to do.
Yeah, Quavo Huncho was awful. Offset Father of 4 was amazing. Because he's probably fathered more and he's not paying child support because he's a bitch. And then yeah, Takeoff has like actual flows, and like the Rocket thing was sort of like cool Kanye beats, whatever, but like it's just none of the Migos can hold their own album on their own. So it's kind of just no point. This is an arbitrary scale Audioface because we can still do these building materials. This is my lead because this is just like dumbs you down. You can't have it in your water.
This is asbestos because no matter what, whenever you get asbestos, you have to call somebody to go out and get rid of it every time because you can't live with asbestos or you can't live with Migos. You have to call somebody to get them out of your life.
Yeah, it's like a cancer in Monsters Inc. Like you have to like shut down the whole factory just to, like get this level.
Speaking of cancers,
ooh,